welcome in 1320 Kings insider and creator of the Kings Beat, James Ham, joining us live in studio.
You know what's interesting? This James is here, so it made me think about this. We were talking to Chris Biederman, and he was talking about when McCaffrey was drafted in 2017, right? And we were like, dang, 2017, like, it feels like McCaffrey's been around forever. He's like, what, 25, 26 years old or something like that? He hasn't been around long. It reminded me of a discussion that we had with on J Street Vibes, myself and Jason Jones the other day, talking about Malik Monk. Malik Monk's 24, right? Like, feels like he's been around forever. You got this guy that, like, is really good. Like, you can make the argument he's not even in his prime yet. And it's like the discussion we had with De'Aaron Fox. Malik Monk's 24 years old.
Fox will be 24 in a couple of weeks. I mean, 25,
That's crazy.
25 in a couple of weeks.
Man, that's crazy. And it just had me thinking about the prospects of this team. Herder's what,
24.
24.
He's 24. Davion's 24. Sabonis is 26.
I don't want to say like baby Kings or nothing like that, but they're not like old either. You know what I'm saying? Like, these guys are coming into their NBA prime a little bit. I don't know. It's kind of random, but I thought about that the other day. Like, damn, Malik Monk's still only 24 years old.
Yeah. In the NBA standards, this is basically like they're middle-aged players. They're guys in second contracts, although early in second contracts. It's really a perfect thing to get a bunch of guys that are right around the same age, right around the same like trajectory as far as like career path, and see where they can go together. Now they've got to get better and they've got to start winning. But it is good because if they're sort of good this year, maybe they get much better next year as a collective, just moving forward together. And none of these guys are truly in their prime. Like,
Right.
you know, prime is really like 27 to 31, 32 in the NBA now. I mean, that's not where it used to be, but that's kind of where it is now.
Yeah.
And so you would expect these guys to have another 2 or 3 years of growth, especially as a young core. And then where can they go from there? Pretty intriguing.
How do you feel about tonight's game?
You know, I think the one good thing is, I'll point this out, that the Kings played Orlando first. And so I bring that up because Orlando, clearly they don't have the guard strength that you're going to see from Cleveland.
Yeah.
But they have this crazy length that you've got to adapt to. And I think playing a team like that leading up to the game is a good thing. And let's just, if you combine the last 2 games the Kings played, you're going up against Steph and Clay, and you're going up against like this like anomaly team that is the Orlando Magic with, you know, like all 3 starters on the front line are like 6'10", 6'11" or bigger. All of them are crazy wingspan guys. All of them are very talented. So I really do think when we're looking at that team, the Orlando team, that's a lot what you're going to see from Cleveland. But then they have the guard play of what you're going to see from the Warriors. Maybe not as good, but really close. I mean, Donovan and Garland are both really, really talented players. So this is a good team. It's probably one of the better teams in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I think they're a team that people are kind of sleeping on a little bit. This could be, you know, easily like an Eastern Conference Finals team.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I agree. I had my questions about them coming into the season. And I also thought a couple other teams in the East would be better than what they've shown, Philly, Brooklyn. But, you know, Damian talked about it earlier. I questioned it at first, but when we broke it down, this is a team that is a championship contender. You look at the East, I got Milwaukee better than everybody in the East. But, you know, they can be beaten. And I think Cleveland is probably on the same level as Boston.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Same level as Boston with potential to grow and grow and grow.
Yeah.
And you want to talk about young. You want to talk about 24 years old here and say, all those guys are.
Yeah.
Mobley's what, 20, 21?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and Garland is same, like 21.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a really, really talented team. It's a very well put together team. And even, you know, they added Market in last year, and it really made this weird, crazy 3 7-footers thing. And I think everyone was kind of taken aback, like, hey, they're trying something new. But then to be able to flip Marketing for Mitchell, gave up some picks and stuff, but just improve yourself.
Opens your window right now.
Yeah. Even
right
Karis LeVert is young. Forget they have him. Isaac
which is
Okoro can't even
crazy
get on
to
the
me.
court.
He's so good to me.
Yeah.
I think Karis LeVert is tremendous. Like every time I look at Brooklyn's mishaps, I look at that.
The thing with him, and I think they have him in the perfect situation right now. I don't know. He might be starting, but he's kind of a one-trick pony. Like he's a scorer, and a really good scorer is that. But he's probably best for the 6-man role. Like if D'Lo and JC in Cleveland, I would be saying
It's a good show.
It's a really good show. I'd be saying, hey, ideally, let's have LeVert come off as our bench. I don't know if he's starting at the 3 right now or not, but
I think a lot of games he is. I would even say, like, look, if you're that team and you're probably going to need veteran leadership at some point. You got Kevin Love. Would a Harrison Barnes for like Isaac Okoro and CD Osman trade make sense? Yeah. I think that would make a lot of sense for both teams.
Absolutely.
Where they get a cut and pay next year where they're going to have to pay a bunch of money out. But really, I think Okoro can't get on the court there, and he could be your long-term fixture in Sacramento at the small forward spot if he learns how to, figure a few things out. But at the same time, you got, another guy who can kind of carry the torch until then.
Yeah.
Well, since you brought him up, is it time to change something with Harrison Barnes?
I think it's time to ask for more. Like very specifically, the coaching staff has to be having these conversations. I think early in the season, you kind of, he's a veteran. He'll figure it out. He's a veteran. And it's Harrison Barnes. You just keep thinking that. At some point, you have to actually have an honest discussion and say, hey, man, like, what is going on? How do we make this better? How do we help you succeed? Because we can't succeed if you can't succeed.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a tough conversation to have with anyone, but Harrison Barnes should not look this way at age 30. Like it should be a concern. I mean, he should not go through a game against his former team where he scores 0 points.
Yeah.
And like, look, if you're going to lose your minutes, it is what it is. Like Kevin Huerter, Malik Monk, they're raising their hands saying, I want it.
Right.
Terrence Davis, I want it. Chimezi Metu, like, I want it. Like, where's that from some of these other guys? And Harrison's, unfortunately, he's got to be lumped into that. We had this discussion on the podcast, me and Sean and Brendan yesterday, and it really came back to, Sean goes, hey, I'm not so worried about Harrison. I'm more worried about Rashawn Holmes, but not so worried about Harrison. And I disagree. He's had one really strong game, maybe 2 out of the first 9.
Yeah.
And then the others are, milk carton games.
So I was going to say, but James and I, like I said, I hope all this turns around because I like Harrison. But the thing that I have been saying, what I said over the summer is, this isn't 9 games. Like, he's been as bad as I've ever seen him in these 9 games, but he wasn't great last year. Like, there was disappearing acts all throughout the last season. Now, it could have been the injury, it could have been whatever the case may be, but I saw it as a sign. It's like, hey, he's got to be better than what he was last year coming into this season.
But last year he still averaged like 16.5 points. He still averaged over 5 rebounds. He still shot 39% from 3. Like, even if you take a step back, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a guy who's, what's he shooting? 11% from 3 at this point.
Man.
Like, at whatever it is, it's not good. I don't. I'll pull up the numbers.
That's got to be a something in his head. Like he's fighting himself a little bit.
He's airballing shots.
Yeah,
yes.
That's not who he is.
He's shooting 16.7% from 3.
Didn't his first 3 of the season like clang off the side?
Oh, yeah, no, that was in the preseason.
Oh, that was preseason.
Yeah, I remember that shot.
We were together. I feel like we were together when he shot it.
Did he have another one?
I don't know. Maybe not. But he had
the preseason one where he.
Oh, it was like it turned out that was a sign of things to come. Like, oh my gosh, he missed that shot by 5 feet.
Yeah,
like me out there.
I don't know what to say because it's just, like, look, if Harrison Barnes hadn't shown us who he was for the last 3.5 years in Sacramento, then you can have expectations that are different than this. But you don't expect a player to just get to a certain age and stop producing the same way that they had in previous. for years and years and years. And I know it's season 10. Well, season 10 in 2022 is like season 4 in 1995.
Right.
You know, like these players are in much better shape. He's in much better shape. He's in tremendous shape. And I don't understand what it is. Like you just don't lose the fastball like this out of nowhere. And so, yeah, I'd be concerned.
What's interesting is there's still, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, it is. It is.
I'm with you because he's the fifth starter.
Yeah,
at this point.
it's like he had 0 points, didn't play the fourth quarter, didn't play most of the second half, and they lost to the Warriors by 3
on a bad call.
But I'll tell you guys why it is a deal. This is why I keep saying he can't give you nothing. Like if he's not scoring and he's locking up, cool. Like, yeah, we're not asking you to score 15. Do your job, defend and rebound. Or if he was getting a bunch of buckets and he couldn't stop nobody, all right, we got to figure something out on defense, but you're giving us 15. You can't be giving us 0 and get blown by every time down court. That can't happen.
Yeah, it's a like absolutely puzzling situation. Like I've covered this team for so long that I have seen so many players who come to Sacramento on free agent deals figure out what's happening in Sacramento and stop playing basketball. Like I can, like the list is long, like Marco Bellinelli, George Hill, Dwayne Dedman, Aaron Aflalo, Trevor Ariza, like so many players got to Sacramento and they end up being some of your worst players. And you're like, you guys have like such a proven track record. How can, and some people are, oh, well, you're expecting them to do too much. And I'm like, no, just be who you were. And that should be okay.
Yeah.
So I've watched this happen with so many veterans where you get to game 30 and you see the record and you see the guys that are succeeding. And it's the young guys that you're not expecting to succeed. And the guys that aren't are the veterans who know the job. They know they took the money.
Yeah.
And so with Harrison, I'm going to equate him to that a little bit because it's not that he took the money or anything else. I mean, he's been here, but that's what it feels like. It feels like one of those veterans who walked in the door and just like, this is not what I expected. And so I don't know how they fix it, but I think it should be like really, really high priority. Number one. I mean, you can get away if you're the Sacramento Kings, you can get away with Rashawn Holmes like falling apart on you because you got Alex Len, you got Chimezi Metu, you got Neemias Queta, you have other players they can go and play that position. You have Domantas Sabonis who's going to play 36 minutes anyways. Yeah. But you can't have Harrison Barnes. Like we keep saying it. You need more than one Harrison Barnes. You can't lose the one. You need 2 more of those guys. And all of a sudden you lost the one and he's still there. And it's really, really sort of an interesting, like, I don't remember something like this happening where a player just like took a step back, such a huge step backwards.
Yeah. Stuff.
So you're listening to D-Lo and Casey on KIFM West Sacramento, KRXQ HD2 Sacramento, ESPN 1320, driven by Lasher's Elk Grove Dodge, always live on the free Odyssey app. Jesse, thumbs up. We've got another set of tickets to Brooklyn coming up. Okay. In about 20 minutes, the Sacramento Kings will take on all of Brooklyn, every borough, coming up next week.
Yeah, next Tuesday. And
we'll have tickets for you in 18 minutes or so.
I did want to say this before we walked away from the Harrison conversation, if we were, I'm not sure, but it can't go on like this forever, but I like the way Mike Brown handled it on Monday. He gave Harrison his opportunity. He started, obviously started the game, started the second half. Didn't get any better. He didn't have it. He didn't force going back to Harrison. He said, hey, it's winning time. And if that means you don't have it tonight and I can't go to you tonight, all right, let me get Monk in there. Let me get TD in there or whatever the case may be. And I think that's the way it's going to be for the foreseeable future. I don't know how many games that is, but I think that's the way he's going to handle it. I don't think he's going to outright bench him. He's going to give him the opportunity to see what he has that night, see where he's at. If he's playing well, he's going to go with him. But if he's not, I don't think he'll hesitate not to play him in the majority of the second half or something like that.
Yeah, and like, look, Mike Brown doesn't call plays. He doesn't. So it's not like he's sitting there saying, okay, let's run this one for Harrison. Let's run this one for Harrison. He doesn't call plays. The other players are stepping up and filling these roles. And for whatever the reason is, Harrison isn't finding his niche, and that's what it looks like to me. Like, and is he out of sorts on the defensive end? Sure, he's out of sorts, but is he as horrible as some people like to say that he is? No, he's not.
He's pretty bad.
Well, he's not great. Like defensively, I'm not saying that he's like perfect, but at the same time, like you're asking him to guard some of the toughest players out there, and I
gonna
think
put up 0 points. Put KZ back in there.
No, I get it. But
because apparently he can only start or not play at all.
But the difference is they will still guard Harrison Barnes at the 3-point line. They will.
And how much longer though? You think you like tonight? You think they're guarding Harrison at the 3-point line tonight?
Oh heck yeah. Well, I don't know. Karis LeVert has never struck me as a great defender either way, but
hey, this might be a game for him to get right.
Yeah.
Well, no, it'll be that game that Kenny comes in. We're really getting excited about 18 points from Harrison Barnes, huh?
His little big league.
You know what the sad thing is Harrison could go for 18 tonight. He could go for 20 tonight.
And we won't talk about it.
No, we won't.
Yeah.
Harrison, so both things can be true. Harrison needs to be better. We also need to show him a little bit more respect. Like we show that dude absolutely no. He scored 20, and I don't even think we brought him up.
That's what it is. He's protesting. He said, "Look, I'm not having a good game till you talk about my good game."
I'm okay though if he.
That's fair. That's fair. That's a completely fair form of protest.
I'm okay if he scores 14 and he grabs 5 or 6 rebounds and dishes out 1 or 2 assists, and he hits 35 to 40% of his 3-point shots. That's fine. But that's just not what we're getting. That's not the player you're getting. And so for me, even if he was taking a step back, you just don't expect this step back to be by 50%.
It just seems like it's so much more difficult for a guy like Harrison to kind of find his groove, if you will, than it would be for someone like De'Aaron, who De'Aaron has control of the ball, control of the offense. If the idea with De'Aaron is you got to get more aggressive, you got to get more assertive, he could do that. Harrison just kind of has to wait. We saw him in the Memphis game, I think, if I remember, he was really aggressive in the first quarter. And we had been calling for it for a few games at that point. And he had gotten aggressive. He had worked inside. The whole team as a whole was collectively trying to work inside. And then it seems to, hey, you have these moments, fade to where we got to the other night against Golden State.
Yeah. But I also, like, my response would be that while he's struggling the last couple of games, the same exact position Keegan Murray's playing, and he didn't seem to have any problems. Kevin Huerter, all of those positions, it's really like 2, 3, and 4. They all have the same job. They all play the same role on the offensive end. They all have the same opportunities. They all have the same motion. Everything is the same. So why are some of the other guys not having these problems and he is? And that's something that, like, they have to figure out. How do you get him, like, engaged and actually being a functional part? Because they need his shooting. They do. They still need his shooting in order for this thing to work.
And look, that's the other thing about it that myself and Damian were talking about earlier. Ideally, you don't want to bench Harrison. Like, I know me right now, I want to see him play better. I want to see him get into the groove and play, because I'd much rather, and this isn't rocket science, they're a much better team if Harrison is functioning at a high level than opposed to, oh, we benched them and KZ came in and gave us what we wanted. Like, I'd much rather have Harrison Barnes playing well than benching him, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to bench him. Like, I don't think, like, maybe they're having, like, cursory discussions on what they have to do to get him more involved. I don't think they're benching. He's still playing 32 minutes tonight. I mean, he dropped to 22 last game, but that's an anomaly this season. He's done, I think, twice where he's played a few minutes. But I mean, this is a guy that, like, you take out like 2 games, he's probably averaging 35, 36 minutes a game. Like, Mike Brown relies on him. And you have to, at what point does he start to go, this is not, like, my return on investment here isn't working? And I mean, we got to be somewhere close to that, but it's 9 games in.
At what point are close competitive losses not enough?
That's tough.
They have realistically not really played bad this year. I mean, I don't, and I know people feel a certain way about a Memphis game. I didn't think they were awful in the Memphis game by any stretch.
So they just got beat.
There was a stretch of the first Golden State game that was just eye roll. Like, okay. But in reality, they fought their way back. You know, they gave themselves a small opportunity to win, but still, every other game, I don't think you could ask for much more from in terms of totality. Like, there were obviously pockets where they didn't play well, but it's still, they're 3-6. At what point is it? Yeah, that's not going to do it if we want to get where we want to go.
Yeah, I mean, that's the $1 million question, because I think we also have to factor in schedule. The schedule has not been easy. The first 10 games of the season
but when does it get easy?
Are not easy.
Never.
Well, there is always a point in the schedule where it at least gets softer. You know, again, like, how many times have they played a team like the Lakers that's coming up on Friday? They haven't yet. They haven't really played that game. I mean, Orlando, that's not a bad team. That's just a young team who hasn't figured it out yet.
But that's the whole league. I
Yeah.
look at that. The whole league is, the Lakers are terrible right now. They can win.
Yeah,
they can beat anybody.
Yeah, I mean, LeBron is still there.
Yeah,
I mean, Russell Westbrook is still there. He's capable of.
He's balling right now. You see him?
Sixth man of the year.
Balling right now.
It's better to get this stuff out of the way right now, though, because we're going to get to game like 40. And again, I said it before the season, there are going to be so many teams that are like, yeah, we ain't really got a chance. We're out. And we're going to see the ripcord pulled on a bunch of these teams. And so you need to figure it out right now. You're right. But like, if they won one of these games where they got like nailed by the officials here out of the two, you know, then they're 4-5. Like, they're a game below 500, you know, like, they're so close.
Yeah.
So I think you have to let the process play out, as long as they don't get caught up in, oh man, we're falling too far behind. You know, we're sinking here. As long as that feeling doesn't seep in, then keep playing. And for that matter, like, if you are seeing something right now that's wrong with this team, all of us see at least one or two things that are wrong right now with this team. That's on Monty McNair to go make those changes. And he doesn't have to wait. There's no one that says he has to wait till December 15th, or that he has to wait until 2 days before the trade deadline. If you see something you need to address and you need fixed with this team, go out and get it as early as possible. Like, go help this team. We obviously know they need a shot blocker, or they have to play. Like, I don't think putting Alex Len out there with Domantas Sabonis would work at all. So I don't know how that works. Same thing about Keita. Maybe one of the answers is to give a guy like Keita a shot. Like, he is a shot blocker, but you know you need that. But what you really need is you need a 4 or you need a 3 that can impact the game on that end of the court. So go start searching for that guy right now, because there are teams already who are like, yeah, we're winning too many games. This isn't what we're signing. We're in it for Victor, and that, you know, we're trying to do the victory lap here. And that's just not where they're at. And so, like, be aggressive and fix the holes. You knew that this team wasn't complete coming into the season. There are opportunities that you should be addressing as quickly as possible.
Is there, I asked Damian this the other day, we had a discussion about this. Is there a number, win-loss wise, record wise, that would get you concerned about this team? Damian, I think yours was like, I'm around that mark right now, where like
I was concerned. Yeah, I was concerned that they lost that game against Golden State, which they very, very much could have won. And I've stated I do not feel good about this matchup against Cleveland.
And mine was probably on the complete opposite spectrum, where I was like, if they were to get 9 or 10 games below 500, that's when I'd be pushing the panic button. When are you looking at this team like, hey, they're in big trouble?
It's not 9 or 10. It's 7 or 8. That's usually when I'm like,
that's fair.
Okay, like, how do you get back? You know, like I fell under 500 in fantasy football because, like, for a long time I wasn't really paying that much attention. I've been fighting to get back, but every time you lose in that situation, it's 2 games that you got to make up that one, and then you got to make up one more to get back up. And so Like, you can't drop that many games under 500 and expect that you can magically make those games up somewhere. So, like, for me, usually it's 7 or 8 where I start to go, yeah, this feels uncomfortable.
So, and 7 or 8 is fair. I understand it. But the reason why I say 10 is obviously you're trying to get to at or above 500. But
Yeah.
I'm thinking postseason, right? And 10, you don't need to get to 500 to get to your goal of playing playoffs, right? You need
Maybe.
to, no.
You should assume that you should, though. That's
Yeah,
going to be
you
the
should have
mark.
said, but it never happens. Like, it never happens. The 10th seed every year is like 13 games below 500.
No, that's just the last couple of years.
Every year. Like, we did it one time. We went back to like 07. Every year, the 10th seed. The 9th seed might be right there because there used to be a battle between 8 and 9. 10 is always 12 to 15 games below 500.
Yeah, but didn't, like, the one year that the Suns like almost made the playoffs and they under Hornacek,
That was like a
finished
40-win team. That was like a decade ago, though, wasn't
no,
it?
they won 48.
Oh, good
They won
Lord.
48 and didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, and they were the
But that was the 9th seed.
Well, yeah, but even that year, I mean, I don't know that the 10th seed was under 500, and if they were, maybe. But
that's crazy too. I think, remember one year the Warriors won like 45, I think. After they broke the streak, I think the next year they won like 45 and didn't make the playoffs. But like that's the 10th is almost always. I'll take that back a little bit. Almost always 12 games below 500. So if you got to 10 below, obviously you want to play better. I'm not saying like, oh, everything's great. Or if you got 7, 8, your goal is really to get, all right, let's get back to 3 games under 500. Not the whole 500.
Strangely enough, the 10th seed is often whatever the Sacramento Kings record was. That's a pretty regular occurrence.
Yeah.
34 wins in 2019, 2020. That was the Phoenix Suns. They were
34 out of 72.
Sacramento was 39 at 9. 10 was the Lakers. They were 37. That was 2018-19. Going back to 17.
Okay.
Whoa, man.
Let's
Clippers,
just say
42 and 40.
I
think the 10th seed.
I think to make the 10th seed this year, 37, 38 games at a minimum. And
sounds fair.
And I'll tell you this, my 13 years, one time they won 39 games. Every other season has been 33 and below. Yeah. You can give the 2 Walton, if you prorated the 2 Walton years during the 72, those prorated to 35 wins. But still, like, one time they won 39 games. So that's why, like, they're up against it. Like,
it fluctuates a lot more than I think we realize in recent years. Like, I've seen 39 and 40 as numbers, and I'm now at 2012 where that number's 41 and 41 for the Dallas Mavericks. The Portland Trailblazers were 11th and they had 33. Kings had 28 wins that year.
Oh, what a season.
What year is that?
12-13.
12-13. Okay. Yep. And the Kings were much better that year than they should. They had a better team. They had injury issues that year.
Back when LeBron first started listening to Migos in 2010, Phoenix was 40 and 42. They were the 10th seed. The Houston Rockets were 43 and 39.
League was strong. League was strong back in the day.
Strong.
Sacramento was 24 and 58.
I love the league right now. I think there's so much talent. So maybe it is. Maybe it is. Maybe it is.
It's tough. We're still going to get to the moment where these teams that are up there that we didn't expect to be up there, where they're not going to be up there anymore.
And to your point, Kenny, I don't know that there's a team, unless like a Utah or, like the teams James is referring to, Utah, Portland, unless they remain significantly stronger than we thought, and they're not. Yeah. Well, obviously Portland isn't. I don't think Portland's tanking. I don't think their aspirations are to tank. Utah, like, no, we're going to compete all year, and they wind up in that vicinity of 39-40 when the season comes.
The Lakers might tap out.
The Spurs
would they though?
The Spurs are 5 and 6.
They might not be good enough.
Yeah, but they don't.
But they would. So they're tapping
quit,
out, and they're just LeBron's not playing. Anthony Davis isn't. Like, they haven't tapped out yet, and they can't win.
That's what I'm saying.
I got you.
They may all be there and just keep losing games.
Well, they might just, but they could just get to a point where we're not playing LeBron anymore. We're not playing Russell Westbrook anymore.
Well, LeBron will be after he breaks the record.
Yeah, LeBron's going to
Then-
break that record.
Then he goes to see Ohio State in their college football playoff run.
I'm glad that you finally admitted that.
Oh, they're getting in
I'm
just
glad.
like
I'm
just
glad.
like Michigan's getting in.
Oh.
They're getting in.
Oh,
Yeah, both of them.
all right.
Ohio State's going to get in because they're going to lose the Michigan game and still get in.
It's possible. I'm telling you. You think I'm crazy? It's possible. It's absolutely possible. Right now, the 10th seed is 5-6.
Right there.
It's Minnesota.
Right there. Dang, that's crazy.
It's Minnesota.
Hey,
Anthony Edwards.
They got to figure some stuff out. I'm just thinking
Anthony Edwards and his new statue offense.
The Statue of Liberty offense.
He running that Boise State play out there.
I just thought he had like Popeye's grease on his fingers.
Oh,
Don't throw it to me.
man.
Don't throw it to me. Hang on. I
He's
gotta
like,
advance.
I'm sick of this.
They got to figure some stuff out over there.
Yeah, you got
they
the
do.
you got the
They
Spurs,
do.
you got the Timberwolves that
The
are both
Spurs,
right
that's the other
there.
one.
Yeah, and then again the Pelicans 5-5. Like they're not blowing anything up. The Clippers, we all thought they'd be much better, but at 6-5, and Kawhi just once again shows you that you never know when he's going to play and when he's not.
Leave Kawhi alone, man.
Bro, I
What's
was
going
thinking about
on?
this the other day. I was like, look, man. Look,
He's
it's a serious thing, right? He tore his ACL like what, 18
He
months
tore
ago?
his ACL a long time ago. I
That's
looked
what I'm
that up.
saying,
I
like,
looked that up too
It's
when
not
I
like
saw
he's Alex Smith out here. Like
it was
people
June.
come back the same season.
What year is this?
Uh,
2022. It was June like 2021.
Yeah.
What year are we in? Yeah, he
Yeah.
tore it a while ago.
Yeah, that's a while. That's
But
But somebody told me, I think you've heard the same thing a while ago. They're like, Kawhi's never gonna be the same. This was before the ACL. And they're like, he's never gonna be this guy that's gonna play 70 games in a season, 75 games in a season. So
right now, is he gonna play 40? Like, how many is Kawhi gonna play? Has he
don't know.
played?
I don't think he's played. No.
He's played. He's played one.
He played
Has
the
he played
Lakers
since that game?
I think he played another game after that, and he hasn't played since then. I don't think.
he's played
Man.
2 games all season.
Yeah.
Jeez,
But
Yeah.
that's tough.
the first game,
That's
the first
tough.
2 games of the season.
No, he played the first game and he
Oh,
played
yeah.
the
Yeah.
third game.
Against
So he
Phoenix.
skipped the
He
Kings
skipped the
game.
Kings game.
Yeah.
The Paul
yeah.
George, Kenny's MVP game.
No, Paul George beat the Cavs the other night.
No, that was a terrible game from the Cleveland Cavaliers. We've got tickets to see the Sacramento Kings take on all of Brooklyn. You
That's
can
always funny.
you can be a part of the festivities for the Sacramento Kings' first nationally televised game since God knows when. James,
Thought you
when
were gonna
was
say since God, because that would have been accurate.
God? I think God was the starting 2 the last time the Kings had a.
I remember maybe in my 6 years at NBC, maybe twice where we had TNT in town, because when they're in town.
Well, we've had them in town before. They just didn't get to call a game that night.
Yeah.
It wasn't TNT. I think it was ESPN, right?
Yeah.
They
The
had
March.
Yeah.
They've had a couple in Golden One on TNT.
They have?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
They had a
Yeah. Because I
Clippers game.
remember
I
like,
think
hey,
Cuz came back on TNT.
yeah, we got
Okay.
nothing. We got
Oh.
nothing. Like those games. Those are games where we wouldn't do pre and post.
Oh, right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, anyways, we've got your tickets right now. Caller number 1,300. What's our station? 1140, 1320, 1,320.
It's absolutely not that.
No, because there's people actually listening to it. Caller number 1,320 or 3, whichever Jesse feels like counting to. 916-909-1320. We'll get you all set up. Caller number 3 right now. Kings, Brooklyn, national television,
Where
Golden One
Brooklyn
Center,
at?
Tuesday.
It's gonna be a
Jacques Vaughn.
Jacques Vaughn gonna be in the house. Kyrie might be in the house.
You know, Jacques Vaughn may be a fantastic coach, by the way. I just feel like this whole circus around Brooklyn is just that.
That's exactly
It's
what it is.
ridiculous.
I had a moment with Jacques Vaughn when he was coaching Orlando years ago.
What happened?
Like a good. I never know what
No.
you mean when you say that. Like,
No, it wasn't a great moment. No, I went over to
no.
to cover the Jazz pregame, and I had a shirt that was slightly. It had like a pink and a purple like stripes, And he goes, "Oh, I see you're wearing your team colors." And he was trying to call me out for wearing purple, which it wasn't really a purple shirt at all. And I said, "Oh no, I was just paying homage to your Utah Jazz days." To be like, I smarted back off to him because I'm like, I'm not gonna take that from like Jacques Vaughn in a media scrum. But yeah, that was a while ago.
I'm not gonna take that from Jacques
I'm like-
Vaughn.
Like, I don't even know what. Like, what's the deal, bro? You don't know me. Like, why are you acting that way? So
I'm
yeah.
not gonna take that from Jacques Vaughn. It's my favorite line ever.
Yeah, I mean, if that was like,
Workhouse, put it on a shirt.
I mean, come on. If that's pop, then it's gonna be like, well, coach, sorry, I'll wear a different shirt next time. But no, I mean, come on now. I'm like, so yeah, that was my response. I brought it back to his
man.
Utah Jazz days.
Yeah, I mean, Pino, right? James a low key hothead.
I can be honest. Like,
James, I'm not gonna take that from Jacques Vaughn.
so like, good for him. Like, I'm glad you got the job, but yeah.
If you don't wear that same shirt to the media scrum on Tuesday,
Yeah. I just, it's one of those things where you just like, if someone catches you off guard where they're being like a troll in a media session, you're like, again, it reminds me of like when Kobe was so rude in a media scrum, and I walked away with my thoughts on Kobe, like, you're gonna have a really difficult time changing my opinion of who you are as a dude in real life. Because that was uncalled for and that wasn't okay. And it wasn't even towards me, it was towards somebody else. And I was like, oh, you're that guy. I got you. So same thing.
did Kobe ever change your mind?
Kobe kissing babies on in his last game at Arco. I think he let go of the persona and grew up a lot in his last couple of years where
I think he let go of the persona when his team stunk. He's like, I can't
maybe
do this anymore.
Yeah, I just know that when he was younger, it was always like he was brash, but also like there are moments in a locker room where someone says something that could be taken the wrong way, and a player could just blast somebody, and or making fun of them and say something like rude, and it was one of those moments where you're like, oh, you just did that, like, oh, like that makes me not really like I'm good, like I know who you are. That's fine with me.
Not going to take that from Kobe Bryant.
No, like it wasn't aimed towards me. Like, again, like if Greg Popovich, if you ask Greg Popovich a stupid question,
oh yeah,
he makes
give you a
you
stupid
feel
answer.
stupid.
Oh yeah,
he makes you feel stupid, but it's in a very weird way. I
disagree. I think he may. What he does is he'll go at you. He'll make you feel stupid, and then like later, like when it's over, he'll like wink at you or something. It's like no, you were a jerk, really, really loud. Like don't wink at me now.
And I wouldn't take that from Pop. Just answer the damn question. I don't care if you think it's stupid or not. Answer the question. We don't need all the shenanigans.
He is. Yeah, Pop.
I've been there for a couple of them. Like you're just like, oh no, don't ask that question. Don't ask it that way.
I don't care if I ask you if the sky is blue. Just answer the damn question.
Yeah. So
what are we doing here? I don't really want to talk to you right now, but this is my job.
We're gonna calm James down. James. James. I'm not talking to a man named Jacques.
Oh my God.
Oh man. Hothead Ham. We're back with more. It's D'Lo and KC. One final look on the Kings and the Cavaliers when we return here on Sacramento Sports Leader ESPN 1320.
These cookies are delicious. What's this one with the? It looks like white chocolate chips. What is that?
Yeah, it's like a white chocolate chip thing. Yeah.
Coach Patrick brought in 2 Australian signings.
Ooh.
7-foot center from NBA Global Academy.
Ooh.
Bowen Beatty played for the Australian junior national team. Other signee, 6-foot point guard, has been playing professionally in Australia in the NBL league, named Bailey Nunn.
We about to do work. We about to do work
25
next
points
year.
per game in high school. That's what Coach Patrick was smiling about.
Oh yeah, we about to do work this year.
That's good
Uh-huh.
stuff.
Sac State.
Chatty House got me laughing.
They're funny.
You guys are funny today. Good stuff. Let me. Someone asked this. Like Adrian. I'm just gonna throw this up. Spill the beans on the Keegan situation. Look,
What?
listen. Players have personal things that go on, just like you have personal things that go on, Adrian. I know what's going on. It's something that it's like they're going through something. So him and his family. So just like typically when people go through things as a family. I think you probably understand that means that there's usually like an illness or something's going wrong. So that's all it is. And he's a young man who's on his own for the first time, and things aren't going as planned back at the homestead with family members. So just take my word on it and send some love for the guy. That's all.
That's all that's needed, man.
We don't need to know everything that goes on.
I'm not talking to a guy named Shock.
I didn't say that. No, but if someone's gonna
that's
be
my
like
favorite.
gonna pop off, then no. And no, I don't hate French food. No,
James loves French
I
food.
literally send everyone to
James
Josephine's,
loves French food.
the French
Holy
restaurant
crap.
in Auburn, which is stunningly good.
Look how many people are here.
Wow.
There is a full-fledged party here.
Oh, can't, yeah. Look at everybody's all dressed nice and everything.
Not gonna make it, y'all. James, come get you one. Come get you one of these pieces.
Kenny's gonna eat all four cookies.
How many have you eaten?
Come get you a piece, James.
Jesse, you should come in here and
Jesse,
get a
come
bite
get
of these
one.
cookies. I broke them
Jesse,
into
come get the
fourths.
frosting one. Eat frosting like a man, Jesse.
Like a man.
Eat frosting like a man.
You guys are ridiculous.
Damien, you can go to hell, straight to hell.
French fries.
You guys know.
What is he doing?
No, that's the wrong
Is he
one.
the third?
Hulk Hogan, you can go to hell. Straight to hell.
Hulk Hogan, you can go to hell.
You guys know there's NBA basketball right
Yeah, Orlando's playing, right?
now. Yeah. They're in the second quarter.
You going at those cookies over there? That's good stuff.
Oh yeah, these are good. The other ones, that's not really my jive, but these are bomb.
My wife brings these home at least once or twice a week, mainly because my 15-year-old talks her into it. And
My mom likes crumble cookies.
so we have like little quarters or slivers. You just walk by, take a little sliver.
Looks like they setting up beer pong or something from here. I can't tell what the hell. Look, I see red cups over there.
Things
beer
are gonna get
pong?
wild up in here.
Oh, we got a DJ and everything. I guess that would make sense. We are a radio station.
You guys are gonna party, aren't
We
you?
party at
Yeah.
Odyssey.
I
We
guess.
party at Odyssey. I don't know what y'all do anywhere else, but we get down over here.
They don't party. They don't party.
He's trying to tell you those cookies are 3,000 calories each, just so you know.
Who?
Man, Kenny don't
You
care.
guys ever know me to care about calories?
Kenny's calories don't even count. We got to put, this is a true story. We got to put on a name tag when the show's over. I see people walking around with their name tags on.
My name is.
It's a true story.
Are you gonna put D-Lo?
Yeah, we were told to put the name that we are
Really?
best known as. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There's like a big crew here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's food everywhere.
Did you see Don's King's thing?
Yes, that's super nice.
It's pretty dope.
Little Oscar, Tiny Archibald,
Buddy.
Tizzy, yeah. Brian Grant, Spud Webb. Why does Spud Webb gotta be so little?
Well, look how small De'Aaron is.
That's just rude.
Wait, who did we remove?
We didn't remove anybody. We changed.
Oh, we just added someone. Because
Well,
I just looked down and was like, wait, is that? Yeah, that is.
I think BG was added.
Yeah, BG was
And
definitely
and
added.
he was moved.
I think De'Aaron's way too small. That's the only thing. I just think De'Aaron is too
Bobby Hurley
small.
looks a little small. Walt Williams.
Well, Bobby Hurley can be small. De'Aaron can't. Like Bob, like come on. Like Rashawn's bigger than Bob De'Aaron.
Yeah, come on.
I mean, that's really like the Spud Webb. It's disrespectfully small. He's like this big. Nobody
I don't
puts
know,
Spud
where-
in the corner.
Where is Spud? Is
He's
Spud
right in
by
the
Matt?
middle. He's
Who's that?
right in the middle.
Who's the
Oh, okay.
Who's the guy above? Oh, that's Brian Grant. I definitely need
To the
guys.
left.
We'll put this on Instagram so you guys can see
Yeah.
it. Can you guys? One, you know we would do this, Dave. You know we absolutely would. You wouldn't be able to hear or really see it. Live on the Odyssey app, live on twitch.tv/ESPN 1320. Jesse, we got a winner for tickets. We did? Okay. Cool.
Hey, did you
We'll have more
guys-
tickets to give away tomorrow.
We're definitely talking Kings. Don't get it twisted. But did you, Jesse? Maybe you saw this too. You guys see Eli Manning with Fabio Ford?
No.
Jesse,
was
did you see
this?
that?
Didn't he take a shot with him or something like that? Eli Manning's so cool. That's first ballot right there.
At the iced out Cuban and the hoodie, and he was like, and it wasn't like a bid or anything either. It was like on Fabio's like IG, and he was like, "We got Eli up in here." He was listening to the new music. Eli was like, "Yeah,
This was
Yeah.
on Monday night. Manning.
no,
No?
It's like on Fabio's IG, like, yeah, I got Manning here in the studio with me." I retweeted it, I think.
What?
Eli's way cooler than Peyton. Way cooler.
He's like, yeah, I'm out here. Yeah. That's what he said.
Sometimes I wonder, do I even follow Kenny? You always say something. Did you see this? Did you see this? I tweeted it.
He's got me muted.
I didn't even see
When
it.
did
really
we
has
get
been
to a
good.
point where the Manning brothers are cool? Like,
I
I
don't know.
never thought that would happen.
I don't know. I don't know. But Eli,
Peyton knows how to work a room.
Eli be in the streets.
Yeah, Peyton knows how to work a room. Eli, I didn't know Eli was living that life.
Eli said, yeah.
That's hilarious.
There he is. Oh wow. Oh goodness gracious.
Playing Fabio's new track in
That's
the background.
wild. That's why. Why is Eli dressed like that?
That's what I'm saying.
How do you think that gets set up?
I don't know.
Is that
I have-
Eli? Like Eli really about that life?
I have no idea why
I ain't
Eli
even
was
mad.
there.
I ain't even mad at Eli.
Now I gotta look this up.
I ain't even mad. I knew there was a Commanders press conference today. Oh Lord, they're being investigated for more.
Well,
Is that surprising?
I think Goodell needs to step in and just get the team off of Schneider now.
I'm still looking for this Eli.
Now.
Oh, this is bad. Oh,
Get
man,
the team off
Warriors-
of him like immediately, effective immediately.
The Washington Commanders are good Lord. I knew there was something going on with them. All right. We've got the Sacramento Kings and the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight. Who's guarding Donovan, by the way, at the start of the game?
Fox. That's
No.
a tough matchup. I mean, it
Or
hurt
Herter.
her.
Herter?
Yeah, I think so.
And it's De'Aaron and
De'Aaron and
Garland?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so.
All right.
I thought they might. Well, we don't
Broadcast
know, but
journalist.
I thought they might put De'Aaron on Davion to slow him down early, since Garland may be trying to set things up a little bit more than Davion. But
Donovan?
Excuse me. But yeah, maybe they will put Horton on Mitchell.
And Donovan and De'Aaron are good friends. They're the same draft class. Like all those guys are same draft class with Monk and with Herter. But like they've known each other for a long time. They played AAU against each other. And De'Aaron said multiple times, like we all knew Donovan forever. Like he's a great defender at the high school and the college level, but we never knew he could score.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he gets in the league. You're like, what in the world did this come from? Like, where did it come from? So yeah, crazy.
He's killing it this year too.
KC had a wild idea. Try leading in a game. I know it's crazy.
12-point lead at half. And did
It's
that
not out
work?
there.
It's crazy.
They won.
22-point lead
Well,
at half, and they almost blew that one too.
Maybe don't fall behind at the beginning.
Yeah.
maybe
So the Heat game they went wire to wire, but the Warriors game they had to battle back from being down 11.
again.
Like, let's not do that.
You know what I'd love to see? Just blow a team out. Like, I don't know who, but just like drop the hammer on somebody.
I agree.
Just like make everybody feel like, oh, okay, they've got that in them, and then you can build from there.
Yeah.
Like it would be good. I don't know who you're going to do that against, but
it feels like you should, even the Thunder do it against somebody. The Spurs then blew somebody out. You got to be able to, you got to blow somebody out.
Yeah,
at some
I don't
point.
know. That blowout's coming tonight.
No.
Unless Cleveland's tired on this road trip, unless they've about had it.
Well,
The Sacramento flu.
Well, they really want to get back to Cleveland. They're really in a hurry to get back to Ohio. So I don't know.
That night on K Street, Sacramento flu.
Is that Tiger walking with DJ Abs? Abs won. Yeah.
Tiger for Taco Tuesday.
I remember 10 years ago when I started screaming Taco Tuesday. I was telling my kids, man, this is going to be one of the biggest things ever. Like the whole world's going to be
crazy.
The whole world's going to be. No one was really talking about. Everyone was talking about tacos on a Wednesday, tacos on a Monday. I say, yo, what about that alliteration, dog? What if we did Taco Tuesday? That's how I envision LeBron James feels about Taco Tuesday. He invented Taco Tuesday. I think it should be acknowledged LeBron James is the inventor of all.
He is.
And the discoverer of all. He actually discovered D'Lo and Casey.
Facts.
On a trip to Sacramento. He heard us separately. He heard my podcast.
Like, I think these guys would be good together.
He heard
Well, he certainly almost destroyed Sean Cunningham's career before it even began.
I don't know this story.
You don't know where LeBron signed an autograph for Sean in one of Sean's first games, but LeBron's first game in Sacramento. And that's a big no-no in the video world for us to take a signature from a player. But Sean was waiting for his recorder to download and had the program underneath his recorder. And LeBron came over to sign an autograph for a kid and his grandma right next to him. And Sean wasn't even paying attention. All of a sudden, the program gets ripped out of Sean's hands. And then he signs it. And then Sean looks up. He's like, oh, no. He's like, and I mean, LeBron's like a 18-year-old kid. It's his first game. And LeBron's like, I don't know what to do with this thing. And he hands it to Sean. And now Sean has an autograph program from the first LeBron James game in the history of LeBron James at Arco Arena. He has a program and he didn't throw it away, and he actually got it framed like 2 years ago. But
he waited 18 years to get it framed.
He waited like forever.
Sean's been waiting for that call from HR for 18 years.
Well,
that's actually why he left. That's why he left ABC for Fox. They found out. Finally found out 18 years later.
It's such a great story, though. Sean's like, he looks up and he looks over and he sees like the producer from his radio station sitting there like, no. He's like, I didn't know. And then boom, he hands it back to him like, yeah.
18 years later, he's fired from ABC for that infraction, and he goes to Fox. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a great story.
It is a great. Sean is a good storyteller.
Mark says LeBron actually pitched the idea of the Drake bars to Kenny.
Truth is out. The truth is out now.
Well, it's LeBron did name Drake as well. You know,
I've heard that.
Yeah,
there's that.
I've heard that.
He was going to come in as Aubrey.
Yeah.
No,
he found him.
Be Drake, bro.
So Aubrey, that doesn't make any sense. You seem like a Drake, and I think you can rap. So we're gonna roll with.
But
that.
harmonize a little bit. Like LeBron invented singing and rapping. That's what he did.
He's so innovative, man. He really is.
He was talking to his friend Busy on the corner one day. He was like, yo, if you just talked really fast, like I think that'd be a dope record. And then Bone Thugs and Harmony was created. LeBron was like 4. It's amazing.
Just a kid from Akron.
Just a kid from
Just a toddler from Akron. That's all I was. Just a toddler from Akron.
Speaking of Akron and Cleveland, James, am I crazy for thinking the Kings are going to win tonight? I think they're going to win tonight.
I don't know. I just think that LeBron's going to hear part of this clip and he's going to drop 75 on the Kings on Friday night.
I love LeBron.
De'Aaron Fox is going to go for 75 tonight. I'm going to tell my friends right now.
And then he'll beat the Kings at the buzzer, and he'll say he invented beating the Kings at the buzzer and get fouled, but no foul will be called.
No call.
He invented the no call against the Kings.
He's going to clothesline De'Aaron Fox going to the key to try to win the game by 1. Yeah. I was the first one to screw the Kings. What do you mean? The NBA can't stop screwing the Sacramento Kings.
Didn't he foul Harrison Barnes on like a game-ending play a couple years ago?
Oh, he did. It was
He like tripped him or something.
they called Harrison Barnes for an offensive foul against LeBron.
I think it was two of them. Yeah, it was two. It was that, and then Harrison went for a drive.
He went for a drive and got called for an offensive foul.
Well, I thought he got tripped by LeBron, and they didn't call it.
No, they called the foul the wrong way, and LeBron went to the line. I think it was 3 seconds left. LeBron went to the line and hit a pair of free throws to beat the Kings. Maybe I'm wrong. I was there at that game. I'm almost positive it was
Staples.
It was down in LA. Yeah,
he was first.
I've been to quite a few games down there.
No,
he was first.
Well, that message will come on Friday. He'll I remember LeBron dropped like 50 on the Kings at Arco. I remember he was with Cleveland at the time. I think he dropped like 53, 4 or 5, something like that. He invented dropping 50.
It's just crazy. People thought it was like the wrong thing to do, and I was like, "No,
I'm gonna drop 50." All right,
are ridiculous.
That is facts. We worked through our Harrison Barnes issues. We worked through our Rashawn Holmes issues.
Did we? Did we work through Rashawn Holmes issues?
I think the issue is
like,
just
are we going to see him?
Yeah, I thought we worked through them on Monday. Just by not playing him, that pretty much solves that. And I like Rashawn. I want Rashawn to play well, but clearly they're seeing something that's not working, James. Like, because unlike Harrison, there's no Rashawn moment. That hasn't happened this year. And he's had some really sporadic minutes in games.
Yeah, the thing that stood out to me, to be honest with, like the one glaring moment in the Golden State game was when Malik Monk drove to the basket and threw a ball up, and Chimezie went through 3 guys to hammer down this like incredible alley-oop. And I thought to myself, why is Chimezie Metu able to do that? And where's Rashawn Holmes been? That's Rashawn Holmes' play. Yeah. Like, that's your play. And we haven't seen that like maybe once or twice all season long where he's emphatically hammered a ball down. Yeah. But to me, it was like this moment where, okay, well, if Chimezie can do that and he can defend on the perimeter a little bit, as long as he's only taken 13 shots in 4 games, that's fine. As long as he knows how to stay on the court, to play defense, to bring energy. And if you get a shot to put a ball in the basket, go ahead and do it. But don't expect to go out there and get 9 shots in the first quarter like you did once or twice last season. But yeah, I don't know where they're going to go with Rashawn Holmes at this point. And it's possible, again, that was just a situation against the Golden State Warriors where Chimezie had played so incredibly well the last time they played the Warriors, where Mike Brown saw something and was like, hey, I'm going to go to this again. Yeah. It's the ability to switch out on 5 players. But now we're going up against, the Kings are going up against another team with this incredible length. You need Rashawn Holmes in this game. You need Rashawn Holmes to come in and play hard and figure out what's going on. But again, if he can't defend the perimeter, the Cavs are number 2 in the league, shooting 39.9% from 3. Like, you got to defend these guys on the perimeter too. So I don't know how you do it, but I think that they got to figure out a way to get Barnes and Holmes going at some point, even if it's just so they can build their value.
And, I do want to say real quick, I don't want to overstate it or say like it's been, he's dominating. I've liked the way Chimezie has played in the last couple of times he's been out there. He's been effective. He's been in control, understanding his role. And right now he's playing his way into the rotation and into the lineup.
I totally agree. He took maybe one shot that I thought was a little rush, a little questionable in the last game.
A little post-up shot, I think.
Yeah.
That's not really his thing.
No, it wasn't really. Yeah, he tried to go up and over somebody. Outside of that, I think he's played within what Mike Brown wants. Like we discussed this last night on the pod, me and Sean. Sean said he thinks Chimezie's doing it his way. And I said, I don't think that at all. I think Chimezie has figured out what Mike Brown wants, and he's doing exactly what Mike Brown wants. And that's what's going to get him on the court. And that's good. It's good for a young player. Every player has to go through this where they start to realize who they are in the league and if they're going to stick, what they have to be. And every once in a while, you'll get an opportunity to be something different for a little while, but you really have to know that if you're going to be in the league, you have to be this player. And I think Chimezie is coming around to that fact right now, which is a really, really good sign for him personally, whether he's in Sacramento or not. And like I talked to Omri Caspi about this years ago, and Omri said, when I got traded from the Kings to Cleveland, I thought I was going to be this like third scorer on Cleveland and everything was going to be amazing. And it didn't work out at all. I bombed and I get dumped to Houston. Kevin McHale pulled him aside and said, look, dude, this is, if you're going to be in the league, you're going to have to shoot the corner three and you're going to have to play defense. And I don't want to see anything else. If you're open on a fast break, go ahead. That's fine. Go dunk. That's fine. Outside of that, I want you sitting in the corner and I want you hitting the three ball. And I need you to be a really good role player. And that's when the light bulb went on for Omri and extended his career by, 5 seasons or so. And this is that moment Chimezie has to take it seriously and play to his strengths, but play within a system and play a role for a coach. And maybe he can stick around for a while.
Is that the same acceptance Rashawn needs to come to?
No.
Or
I mean, that's a good question, though, because Rashawn knows who he is. Rashawn, but again,
but who is Rashawn?
Not to go back to the podcast discussion again, but we discussed this last night. Like Rashawn hasn't looked like Rashawn for a year. It's not like this is a new thing. He didn't look like himself at all last year. The year before, he was incredible. Like, you're a pick and roll guy. You're a dunker. You're a finisher in the lane. You got your flip shot. He averaged 1.6 blocks per game. Like, this team needs that 1.6 blocks per game so bad. And it's just not him. Where did you go? So I think Rashawn's biggest thing, he has to do some soul searching and find how he can fit in this system, but also how he can accept the fact that he has to play well in his first 4 minutes, or he might not get another look. And he needs to go from 4 minutes in the first half to 6 minutes in the first half to 10 minutes in your second stint to 12 minutes, start building from that 12 minutes and start piecing things together where you can start to be a viable part of the rotation.
And to break it down even more, would that just be, if I was Rashawn's agent or his brother or something like that, I'd be like, don't worry about the box score, focus on defense. Is that to break it down even more?
Exactly.
Don't
He
worry
had
about
a game
nothing,
like
just
that.
Focus on defense. The Miami game,
Is that the one it was?
the
Yeah.
one
Yeah,
here.
against Bam.
His box score didn't look great, but he played.
I think
he was impactful.
2 games against Bam, he played really well. But I'll point out the only good offensive game he's had is the first game is against Golden State, and he puts up big numbers. But at the same time, he gave it all back to Weissman. He got destroyed by Weissman, and so there has to be this moment where he has to reinvent. He doesn't have to reinvent who he is as a player. He has to reinvent who he thinks of himself within the rotation and within, the game of basketball on the Sacramento Kings. If he goes to another team and he becomes a starting center again, I think he'll flourish and he'll have no problems. This offense is not built for him. The fact that he's a backup to Sabonis is not something he signed up for. There's a lot that's going on here, and it's tough. Not everyone deals with it the right way or deals with it quickly enough. And, teams get impatient, especially when you have 47 bigs on a roster. This team has so many players that can play that 5 position and that might be able to do a small ball 5 and give you minutes.
Hey, man, I'm a Rashawn Holmes fan. I hope he figures it out. And much like Harrison Barnes, I think the team can be a lot better with a good Rashawn Holmes being a part of it. You know what I mean? I agree. I don't, and I hope people understand what I'm saying. You could, change his minutes out with player X, and player X would produce a little bit. But I think you'd get more production from Rashawn doing what is expected of him. You get more production from Harrison Barnes doing what is expected of him than you would whoever you get to fill in for those guys. I think you're a better team with those two specifically playing better.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Rashawn Holmes was the heart and soul of this team for a long time. None of those players are still here. The only players that are left are Harrison Barnes and De'Aaron Fox that saw him as a guy who was the heart and soul of the team. So he has to reinvent himself, re-earn that. That's the way it goes. If you're playing high school football and you're the heart and the soul of the freshman team and the heart and the soul of the JV team, and then you get to varsity, well, you're not the heart and soul anymore. Someone else has already got that role. You got to figure out who your role is, how you fit into the puzzle. And like, I really do hope he figures it out. He's a good dude. I think he's a hustle guy, a guy who really has worked his way into the league as a fighter. And, he's got a great family. Like I hope it works out for him. But like, there has to be some accountability for the fact that he isn't living up to the standards of the player that he was before either.
Yeah.
It should also be pointed out, he didn't finish, Harrison didn't finish that last game. Kings didn't win. Rashawn didn't play at all against Golden State. Kings didn't win. So it's not like, okay, we figured this out. Like, even though it was a close game against Golden State, so we know we don't. No, you got to get something from, preferably both, certainly from Harrison. You got to get something from them.
They're 2 of your top 8 rotation players. That's they coming into the season.
Yeah, for sure. It feels
That's
like
who
Rashawn is part of like a revolving door of guys who could get minutes, the Terrence Davis minutes, the Trey Lyles minutes, the Chimezi Metu minutes. Like, they just I think it's to Mike's credit, whoever hits that night, that's who I'm going with.
He's searching. Sometimes he's searching a little bit.
But I think with those guys, not Harrison, not so much, but with those guys, I think it's okay. I think it's okay to coach within the flow of the game. If, man, it ain't TD's night, he's getting, we got to go Chimezi, we got to go here. Like, I think that's okay. We're not used to seeing it, at least, because we're used to seeing it like across 12 guys, not across like 4. So I think it's okay when it's across 4. Because I assume Mike is seeing something that he plays Trey Lyles 30 minutes one night and 4 the next. There's a reason that he's doing it. James, KC, D-Lo, we appreciate you guys so much for being with us. Make sure you subscribe to the Kings Beat newsletter over at thekingsbeat.com. Subscribe to the Kings Beat YouTube channel as well. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the thumbs up before you go. Hit the subscribe buttons as well. And